Introduction. I'm Dickson Shem from the Lawyers Hub, and good evening, you all, and good evening, my seniors. I see you. So I'm here to just give you a brief background about what's TikTok, because I know majority of us don't know. Even me, I realized that I don't know much about TikTok until I did the research. And yesterday night when I was going to sleep, I went to my TikTok account to just view about some 2 videos. I ended up sleeping at 2 p.m. AM. So TikTok is very addictive. And we are trying to see how we can regulate the content in it. So maybe we can start. Let me get something. Yeah, thank you. Did you know? Now, TikTok started in 2016 in China with a company called ByteDance. So the Chinese company, the first name of TikTok was I&Me, I.me, they call it I&Me in China. Then it was later named to Douyin, 3 months later. And then in 2017, when TikTok moved from China to the world, but then they combined the name to TikTok in 2019. But then you see the logo, it was not the logo that we know it today. It was a D, Douyin. Then they changed it to a musical, the D plus the musical part. So that's why it's like that. Yeah? So TikTok, when it's moved from China to the US, it's actually merged and acquired a company called Musical.ly. And that's how it found its foothold in the US, in California. And this question should be part of the quiz. So if you forget, I have a quiz. So TikTok itself actually has 1.6 billion users globally, with 1.1 billion users monthly. So 1.1 billion, I'm one of those 1.1 billion people. Then people who view TikTok, actually 1 billion videos are viewed TikTok per day. 1 billion videos. Mine is not one of them. The revenue in TikTok is this year was 2.475 billion so far in the first quarter of 2023, with the ads having a reach of 1.08 billion people. And us who use TikTok spent 7 billion this year only on TikTok. That is buying the data. I've seen some comments there, you will not sleep without buying data. So the data is part of the 7 billion, you get? And TikTok has 150 markets in the world, and it's in 35 languages. Chinese, hope it will be in Kisi language sometime. Then people open TikTok 9 times per day. So me, I actually open it twice, but an average person opens it 9 times per day. Some people more than 9 times. If we move to the next slide, you can see the age bracket for TikTok. Age between 19 to 29 years, 35%. The user with that age, the largest age, they call it the Gen Z, the age. Then under 18, whom we need to regulate in Kenya, they form 28% of people who use TikTok. I don't know how they are in school, but 28%. And 30 to 39 of age, they are around 18%. And above 39, they are around 19%. That's where my mom resides. TikTok is actually among the largest social media platforms, with around 1.1 billion users per month. Facebook is the largest, 2.9 billion users per month. With you can see there, WhatsApp is 2 billion per month. You can see Telegram, 700 million. TikTok actually is the most downloaded app this year. It's the first. The second is Instagram. You can see Facebook is at the number 8. You can see Snapchat at number 7, Zoom at number 6. So in Africa, basically, the countries that form part of TikTok, you can see South Africa has 11.8 million users, aged 18 and above. You can see Kenya has 54% of the population, where majority of us fall, with 29 using it for news consumption. Then you can see Tanzania has 289, 350,000 people of 58 million. So Tanzania is still not using TikTok that much. So that's why the fights between Kenya and Tanzania are not that much good, because there are not many there. And I feel because it's not in Swahili, they don't understand most of those things. But then Nigeria actually has 47.7% users out of the 34% million who use social media, the internet. That is, Egypt is the largest in Africa with 23.73 million users per year. So you can see the number there, and Kenya is 54. Then Egypt is the largest in Africa, which is actually at 23.73%. So coming to regulation of the content platforms, majority of these regulations that we use to regulate these platforms, we use constitutions, like the Kenyan constitution regulates these platforms by saying freedom of expression, privacy. There's also communication regulators. There's also national security ministries, ICT ministries, film classification boards, data protection commissioners, and the Data Protection Act, the intellectual property regulators, also the IP laws. These all accumulatively they regulate these particular platforms in Africa. So we talk about TikTok bans. So these particular countries actually have banned TikTok in various areas, all countries generally. So Canada, for example, has banned TikTok in all government mobile devices. This year, Denmark Defense Ministry banned employees from downloading the app in their particular platforms. India banned TikTok totally in 2020 because of the border China and India. Border clashes. Afghanistan, due to they felt that Islamic laws and TikTok are not aligning. Australia, the same government devices. Belgium, New Zealand, Norway. The latest is Somalia. We all know it banned TikTok because of terror-related content and security reasons per se. So looking at those countries, we can decipher and say that these are the main reasons as to why they actually banned these particular platforms, this platform per se. In the US, we had a discussion in March where they were trying to ban TikTok because of privacy and security concerns. And also the ties to China government is one of the reasons as to why the US was trying to ban it. Cultural values, you saw Somalia trying to ban TikTok because of the cultural values, security also, Afghanistan the same. Border conflicts, you saw India banning TikTok because of border conflicts between China and India. Pecuniary measures, governments banning TikTok use in their government phones. Misinformation and disinformation is actually rampant in those particular platforms. We also saw screen time and addiction. Most of us are addicted to TikTok. It's one of the reasons that's why they are trying to moderate or ban this particular platform. So content moderation per se. What do we mean by content regulation and content moderation? And why do we want it in our particular country, mostly in Kenya? So the US actually have been trying to fight this particular moderation. They pushed TikTok to employ 55,000 employees specifically for content moderation. And once they were employed, they managed to actually remove 91.2% of non-violent content within 24 hours of uploading this particular content to the platform. Similarly, they also managed to remove 84.7% before that particular content actually is on the air. And most of us in the country, in Kenya, we see that we are trying to moderate the lives issue. People going live, those things. So that's why we are actually saying if they manage to do that in the US, they can actually do it in Kenya and across the African continent, right? So let's see where they get the data from, because also data privacy issues forms part of the discussion, where TikTok actually gets your data from these particular apps, TikTok by Paycell, and the Event API. They actually use those particular apps to get your data. When you sign into TikTok, some of us use Google, some of us use Facebook. And because I have a Google account, once I sign into TikTok using my Google account, TikTok will actually adopt those particular data from Google to use in that particular platform. That's how they get the data that they contain. Then data collected, they claim that they collect personal information, which you share during installation, all from Google. They also collect your location. Like right now, if your location is on and you've allowed that particular permission, they know where you are. But they also claim that TikTok they don't sell personal information or share your personal information to third parties. Data not collected, they don't collect religious beliefs, political affiliations, health, ethnicity. They don't collect those particular contents. They also don't collect your face or voice data to identify people. But then, when you share those particular contents in your video, let's say, for example, I go to online and say, I support UDA. They actually know I support UDA. Because that's how they collect that particular data. So if you go there and say, I am this, they know. Now they store. You get? So when you go there live, Mama, you go there and say, I'm in Diani. They actually know, okay, this person is with Diani. Majority of you guys were in Diani the other day. They knew. So in conclusion, basically, I've just given you a draft of what TikTok is. It will form part of the questions that will be asked today. A very interesting question. And I hope one of you will be the winner, because I've given you answers. Some of them, not all of them, I should say. But then, basically, we need to moderate TikTok. We also need to see how best can we manage to regulate these particular platforms for better use of the economy and then educational purposes, but also protect our identity as African continent, our culture, and our beliefs as a continent. So basically, that's what my presentation was. And I believe that after these few minutes, you guys have actually learned a lot about TikTok, right? Yeah, so please thank you, and I wish you a very good session. Thank you.
Another better clap for Dixon. That's good content. Yeah. Thank you so much, Dixon. You are almost starting a beef with Tanzanians. Tumeifungia chini. You almost started a beef with people who went to Diani. Pia tumeinyamazia chini. So at this juncture, I'd want you to also start preparing your phones and your browsers. This is the time, if you don't have the Lawyers Hub Wi-Fi password, we want to start putting it closer to you. This time, I'd want to introduce someone. I was trying to just look at how I can introduce him. I scrolled to the LinkedIn page, and then I found Harvard. I said, when I introduce, I might spoil. So let me just give a little bit of introduction. Stephen Adair, founder and partner Adair & Co. Advocates. A round of applause for Stephen. Thank you so much, Stephen. Yeah, you will introduce yourself. I can. Hey. Another round of applause as he joins the floor.
Sorry, guys, I did not attend Harvard. I did a short course, and I got a certification in... I did not. I'm sorry. That's a bit misleading. My name is Stephen Adair. I am a lawyer. I'm an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. I operate a law firm called Adair & Co. Part of the work we do is really work with creatives, and this topic really is relevant and close to my heart. The things I'm going to speak about, I think, revolves around three things. Number one is, why is TikTok so disruptive? Number two is, are we banning TikTok? Are we regulating TikTok? Are we over-regulating TikTok? And number three is, really, is TikTok of any positive use, any educational value, any economical value? I think these three topics, I'm not really going to cover them in any particular order, but in one way or the other, we will have touched on them. But allow me to start with regulation, banning or over-regulation. Should we ban TikTok? You know, go the route that India went, go the route that other countries have gone. And there's a strong case for it. You know, the things that have been said about TikTok that sounds pretty persuasive, you know. Number one is data privacy and security. And you have to get the background as to why this is a concern for most countries, including the United States. And that background is, it stems down to ownership of TikTok, you know. TikTok being owned by a Chinese company, Chinese, US wars over data, over information, interference with election, all these kind of allegations. And does TikTok itself have enough control to not share data of other nationals with China? It's a huge concern. If you listen to the TikTok CEO try to address these issues, one of the ways he's come up with to address it is, say, for instance, the United States. He said TikTok data relating to US nationals will be collected and processed in the US by a third party, which is a US national entity. So that's Oracle. But that's just the US. Can we demand the same as Kenyans, you know? And I know in Kenya, if you listen keenly, we've had allegations of interference by other countries, not just in economic affairs, but even in our elections, in our political, you know, affairs. So can we demand the same as Kenyans? Or is it easier for us to just simply ban it as a country? That's data privacy and security. I think the other issue that probably most of our politicians have really highlighted is the morality of the content, the appropriateness or inappropriateness of the content. Is this something we can regulate? Or should we get the shortcut? Let's ban this thing as a whole, you know? And you must look at this from TikTok's perspective, because then morality, appropriateness, what's appropriate, what's not appropriate, it's a very, I mean, it's a universal term, but the content of it is not really universal. It's not uniform universally. So if TikTok wants to operate in Kenya, if it wants to operate in Tanzania, the next country, how should it structure its, you know, operations in such a way that it does not affront the morality of that particular nation? You understand? So that's the other concern, really, with TikTok. But I think the question we need to ask ourselves is, if you've been here long enough, I think I've been here long enough, I've seen the beginning of Instagram, Facebook, I saw Twitter, I saw it become X, and we didn't have this conversation, not as much. I don't think we did. Why are we having it when it comes to TikTok? What makes TikTok so special? You know? And it goes down to how TikTok really works. You know, the TikTok algorithm, how does it work? If you look at Instagram, the content you see on Instagram, how different is it from the content you see on your TikTok? And the difference, I think, those like Bobby here will tell you, if you're on TikTok, what you see is what you like. You actually see the things you like, you know? If you're on Instagram, you see the things that are done by people in your contact, the people you follow, or the people, those are the things you see. So I got to follow Josephine for me to see the content she's posting, you understand? In TikTok, if I like a particular topic, I'm gonna see content relating to that topic through and through. And it becomes so easy, it sort of levels the playing field because I have one follower, but because my content is so relevant to so many people, they're gonna see my content. If you compare to Instagram, for my content to have that wide outreach, I need to have 1,000 of followers, you understand? So this is why TikTok is so special, because we're sort of equals on TikTok. I don't have to be, you know, an influencer of sorts to do my thing on TikTok. And this is why it's so special. This is why it's so disruptive. This is why we're having this conversation. And that's why I think I just wanted to put that into perspective. So for me, my answer really is on the question of whether we should ban TikTok or not. My answer is no, we should not. We should not ban TikTok. The answer is in regulating TikTok. And why should we regulate TikTok? Because despite the advantages, despite the many benefits, there are problems. We must accept the problems that come with TikTok. These problems are not just physical harm, they're mental harm related effects of TikTok. I personally think I have been at a point I felt I was addicted to TikTok, sort of over-dependent. And some of these problems are psychological. I think that numerous of studies that have sort of shown how, you know, digital platforms, including TikTok, prey on this psychological dependency as a way to increase traction, increase traffic on these platforms. And that's an issue because TikTok really is not just accessible to adults, it's accessible to minors by some sort of definition, depending on the jurisdiction you're in. And you see why that is a problem. The content really these minors access to, the content they post on these platforms, we really can't regulate them. So that's why you hear cases of, you know, sexual harassment, sexual abuse. You hear cases of all these breaches on TikTok. So for sure, we need someone to address these issues, and these are better addressed by regulation. But how do we regulate TikTok? You'll have to understand that technology really has evolved. There used to be a time when digital platforms was really just a matter of information, communication, and technology. It was just a matter of ICT. Those were the issues, you know? So here comes TikTok that presents issues cutting across almost all sectors, from energy, if you're talking about things to do with artificial intelligence, transportation, it goes to health, it goes to education, and all these sectoral issues are coming into play. So you cannot just have ICT alone as a stakeholder in regulating, you know, digital, you know, platforms such as TikTok, for instance. The other issue when it comes to regulating TikTok, really, for me, is what exactly are we trying to achieve, and what is the scientific basis for it? Is it an evidence-based approach? Do we have clear data showing that this threat we're seeking to prevent actually does exist, or it's just an assumption we're making. Because you'll understand that regulating TikTok really is restricting the right to freedom of expression. And if you an avid reader of what really this right constitutes, you will understand that restricting this right requires certain thresholds that must be met. Are we as a country ready to have that discussion? Are we as a country ready to say, look, we can put down a law, we can put down the purposes of that law, clear purposes of that law? Are we ready to say, are we going to prescribe offenses and punishments under this law so that we properly regulate? And I think even as we do that, we want to ensure that we don't take away the benefits of TikTok. There are numerous benefits. The idea is to prevent the threat, but insist on the benefits. I'm sorry, I'm just checking on my timer. I don't want to take too much time. I still have 3 minutes. Right? Yes, so how are we going to maintain the benefits of TikTok? Because clearly TikTok is beneficial. Number one, psychologically, TikTok has been very beneficial to the youth especially. I think we are in a country where we lost the communal coexistence that our parents and grandparents used to have. But TikTok has created that for the youth right now. You go on TikTok and you find your community. You find a place where people have common values, common issues that they're trying to address together with you. You understand? I know, for instance, there's Book Talk, where you actually share ideas about books you like. People tell you views about things you did not see in these books you read. There's Golf Talk for those who play golf. I'm just trying, but it's quite educative as well. So this communal aspect, it's created for the youth, and it just shows as a society that there is really a vacuum that TikTok has come to occupy among our younger people, you understand? If you leave that, it's pretty educational. And you see the thing with education, I think over time, our education system has lost sort of track in how the message needs to be packaged. And you find that on TikTok. The message is packaged in a very fun and enjoyable way to these young people, and you get more educated on TikTok than you do in a physical setup like this, where someone gets to tell you things and you're probably falling asleep. It's totally different. There you're having fun as you learn, you understand? So I think even the monetization of content on TikTok, it's not something we want to throw away as a country. I don't think we want that. We are now gaining revenue from it from, I think, tomorrow, From tomorrow, we're charging digital asset tax. So it's something as a country we're not throwing away. I don't think we will, because it has provided avenues to a lot of people to get revenue, to earn a living, while doing the things they enjoy, while expressing their views without anyone really judging them, and I think we want to keep those. We want to deal with the issues, but deal with them in a way that we do not take away the very, positive impacts that this thing has had. So I think I'll stop it at that. I think we'd have more time for further discussions on this issue. I think the other thing we want to look at is, the connectivity of the internet, this world we've so liked to call the global village. If you're going to have a point where a country says, for this digital platform, we don't want it in our country, and then it operates in the other country, you remember this whole discussion between Russia and China, where they've insisted on internet sovereignty, and then the West, where they've insisted on freedom of the internet, so that when you're on the internet, you're on a global aspect. But then we're going to sort of compartmentalize the internet in such a way that I want to be in Kenya, that's where I can access TikTok. I want to be in Tanzania, I'll not access TikTok. But even if we deny access to TikTok, how are we going to do it? How do we do it? It's easy for countries that have switched off their formal and official, telephones for the government employees. It's easy, but still, for private phones, like mine, like yours, how do you stop me from accessing an app? You understand? I don't think we make phones ourselves. So it's pretty tough a discussion. But anyways, that's all for me. I'm not so sure this is the session for questions being taken. There's a point here. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Stephen. And it's true, an evidence-based approach to regulation is the way to go. Stephen, you are a very introspective guy. Those guys like Stephen have Yo Visitembe Kwayo. They just speak so calmly. They can even tell you we'll go there and you'll go. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I have sat down and I've listened. So I've had the regulation side. At this time, before we go to the survey, I'd want to hear the content creator side. We have to hear all those sides. I know time is moving, but I want to hear those sides. At this juncture, I'd want to invite Bobby. Bobby is an upcoming filmmaker. They created a group called East Meets West. I sit down most of the time, mostly during COVID, let me not lie. I'm sure he has a lot of brands really on him. But I'd want to invite you to just hear the content creator side. This is your time. Thank you so much. A round of applause for Bobby.
Good evening, everyone. Pole, sina base. I think niko na homa inakam. But okay. Just to give the side of a content creator, I think first and foremost, just to explain the journey, we got into YouTube. YouTube was like the first online platform that people were actually making money from. So we got into YouTube in 2017. That was the first time we ended up uploading content to YouTube. So YouTube was the only social media platform where you could actually monetize your content. So at every end of every month, you'd get a check that goes directly to your bank. So that's when, for us, it hit us that, we could actually now make money from content creation. Because the likes of Instagram and Facebook and the rest were not paying creators. So it was only YouTube that was paying creators. So now, when YouTube continued picking up, and during COVID mostly, when other creators started seeing, YouTubers are actually making money from it, everyone now decided, okay, now let's move into YouTube. So when YouTube was picking up, then came TikTok. The difference of TikTok and YouTube became that on TikTok, you didn't have to wait a whole month to remove the money you made. A very good example. On one live on her birthday, Nyako, the famous Nyako on TikTok, she made 6 million Kenyan shillings on one live by sending gifts. So how are you telling someone to do an office job and there's someone out there who's making 6 million by just opening her camera? Most times people in the comment section are just going ham at her, she's going ham back, and she's making her money at the end of the day. She made 6 million. That was the most by any creator. So now people's mindset started changing and they were like, okay, let's get into TikTok. For one, I had my reservations for TikTok for the longest because right now I'm 28. So by the time I was joining TikTok, I was about 27. So I was like, nah, I'm too old for this. I can't be on this app. At first, that was the whole thing. I can't be on this app. And then two, I come from Eastlands. So the English is because I went to Riara University. Thank you very much. But I come from the hood. So I was like, I'd be the only hood nigga with a TikTok account. And I knew that would be constant people making fun of me. Manze Bobby amekuwa dem siku hizi. You know, so it was a bit skeptical. So the first time I opened my account, I don't know why. I think TikTok really liked me because and I had 0 following. I ended up getting more than 20,000 views in one day. But now what happened was I wasn't ready for the comment section. Because as much as you're getting love, the hate there is worse than Twitter. So people were going ham. And I was like, no, I don't have, I'm not built like this. So I deleted my account. And I was like, let me go. But then now, as a content creator, and as I was getting jobs from brands, and I was sitting in meetings with brands, everyone else had Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. And Bobby, what do you have? Instagram. So I'm not competing with the rest of other creators. So that's when I decided to join TikTok back. This time around, I was like, okay, we're actually doing this. We'll filter comments. At first, when I started, I was like, hey, filter comments. So for your comment to appear, I have to review it, accept it. So you'd have gone to my page and be like, hey, this guy doesn't receive bad comments. But all of them are just delete, not on my page. But this time around, what ended up happening was, I think it just now, people started just easing in. And I started noticing I was not receiving hate because also my content wasn't based on anything negative. So that became the thing. So now I started doing live videos on TikTok. And when I was doing live videos on TikTok, people gift you roses, lions, universe. That's money. So for me, the reason I didn't go to that direction was because I was working with brands. I was fortunate enough, and I thank God for that, that I was working with Coca-Cola and Gordon's at the same time. So for me, I wasn't thinking about the money I'd make from telling someone, please send a rose, tap the screen, tap the screen, please tap the screen. You know, I feel like that was the only benefit I had, so I could just enjoy TikTok. So people started gravitating towards my content because I was just storytelling on my lives, and I would never tell anyone tap the screen or follow my #1 gifter. There was never that. So people would just come, have a good time, the same way I'm having a good time with my audience, and go. So now, what brought us to this point is the fact that now other creators are not at that level where they could earn money from other platforms. In the industry, you also have to make a name for yourself. We were lucky enough to build a name in 2017. So getting brands it was hard in the beginning because it took us 4 years to even sign our first brand. But then the brands now started coming because then Samsung came, Coca-Cola, KFC. A lot of brands now started coming in because now they are looking at our content. But if you're looking at someone who's just finished school, for me, I honestly blame the system. You know, some of us, this is not a low blow, but some of us are not intelligent enough to be lawyers. So, you know, the world just did something to us, and people are just like, let's go to content creation, because the jobs the government said that will be waiting for us are not there. So we can't keep on serikali saidia hadi sangapi. We can't do that. So now people noticed content creation actually has money. So now the game changed. 1, sex sells. On TikTok, and that is for a fact, anytime, and this is not to objectify anyone, but if you go to someone's following, women are followed most, first and foremost. And you know the discrimination. Either you have a pretty face, a pretty body, or you're funny. And let's not lie, some of you, hey, funny. Hey. That's not a character. God never created you with that kafani. So let's just say it's all about your appearance, right? So at the end of the day, people now know, one, sex sells. So when you open 2 a.m. lives in TikTok, there'll be a bunch of people putting on music, twerking. Why? They need the coins. Send roses, send roses. Men have that money, so they'll send the roses. She's making her money off TikTok. You get? Number 2, drama became, there are a lot of TikTok beefs right now. Everybody wants to be the president of TikTok right now. So I'm the president. Now everyone. And then Kenya, tunapenda udaku. So the moment tu amesema uni president, bas, well, let's watch this nini. 1,000 followers. You get, at the time she has 1,000 people watching at a go, or 10,000. But remember that 10,000, if one person just sends a rose out of that 10,000, she's walked out with 100,000 per day. Easy money. If you look at that, and you go back and look at YouTube, I see my fellow YouTubers, Master Trail, you can ask them. Money that was being given to us on YouTube was a joke. You'd have to slave for that money. It wasn't also a money. That's why you see there was a lot of these cheating couples, viewing people's, sanitizing, where people now at 2 couples, you meet a couple, tell them to exchange phones. You saw a lot of that content. Because now, people now also noticed we have to play the system. So those are getting views. I'm getting 100,000 views per video. So that's why they started, like Mungaiv, started posting daily. Why? Because they noticed us guys who are posting once a week can't compete with someone who's posting 7 times in a week. So she's going to make roughly between 80 minus tax, 80 to almost 200,000 in a month. But you see, TikTok is then and there, that day. That's why you'll hear people, please send me a lion, because they know that's money. So in turn, morals and values go out the drain because people want to make money. So as much as we are talking about regulation and all that, which is good, I'm for it. But still the problem of unemployment, no matter what you do, if that is the problem first. It's like we want to close a small hole, but there's a bigger hole that everyone is now not looking at. The government wants to forget about the employment rate and go to content creators, but they don't understand that at the end of the day, I'm going to do whatever it takes to make my money. So if you enjoy sexual content, I will post that. People don't care about, the internet never forgets. They don't care about that. We're okay with that. Because at the end of the day, I need to pay my bills. So you telling me about the internet never forgets, that's your business. That's not my business. You see, and we live sadly we're in a generation where people are more money oriented. So unfortunately, no matter what regulations are actually put in place, I feel like, for one, the regulation has to come with, for instance, parents for people who are under 18. Like Kitambo, you'd finish Form 4 and you're given a phone. Right now, people are in primary and have phones. So you see, you can't also go back to the government and tell, okay, we're going to regulate it as a whole. I feel like it starts with households. That let's first let's go back to the drawing board and be like, okay, you get your phone when you're finished Form 4. You're an adult. You see, number 2, I feel like strict penalties to people who, it's like, for instance, the story where now defamation is something content creators are running to. For instance, the Aziad versus Brian Chira. Brian Chira knew at the end of the day, all he needed to do was abuse Aziad, who's the most followed Kenyan on TikTok. And in return, he's going to make money because all of those people who hate Aziad will be sending roses. It's as easy as that. He doesn't have a personal vendetta with Aziad. It's just a matter of money. So if I come and talk, hey, just do this. You're lawyers, and I can guarantee you, please open your TikTok account. And if any one of you gets that, I don't even know. I'll have something for you and talk about legal issues. for 1 minute straight. And if you get 100,000 views in a week, I'll pay you. I'll pay you. Because at the end of the day, people are on the app people on the app to have fun. People on the app to forget their problems, to enjoy the moment. So if in any particular way, people are not going to come with serious content, the educators are not going to be viewed as much as people who have beef on TikTok and drama. You get? So when it comes to regulation, I'm all for it. And then that's what you see when you wake up at 3 a.m., 2 a.m., that's when all hell breaks loose on TikTok. That's when now everyone is awake and everyone wants to just look for coins. But you see, it's also as a state of a nation, that's where we are. You know, that's where we are. Because Instagram won't pay and TikTok won't pay. Lastly, on part of brands, I feel like with brands, and let's say for right now, I have a contract with Gordon's, the drink. So most of the content I'm allowed to share only goes on Instagram. So Gordon's is paying me to post on Instagram. I'm not making money off Instagram. And they noticed that because TikTok is not big on age restrictions, alcohol brands won't market on TikTok. It's allowed. But other brands do come and say, post on your, like the time I was working for Coca-Cola, they would say, please post on your TikTok. And in turn, what happens is, when I post on TikTok, people can still send flowers. So that's like a side hustle. You know, that's why TikTok has become so big. And that's why every other creator has gone towards the TikTok route, because they know they can make their money. Yes, TikTok will still take 60% of what you make as a creator and give you 40. But it's around they take more than 50% of those coins and stuff. But still, you're looking at it, you're like, that's still good. You see, that's still good. That's why people will go for live matches. Every week you'll see people live matching. Oh, guys, please, let's beat this person with theirs every single day, because that's what's paying their bills. That's what's doing everything for them. So in terms of regulation, I feel like before we go to that platform, before we go to TikTok, there's certain things that need to be done beforehand. You know, there's certain things that need to be done beforehand. Because if people don't see the damage that it's happening right now, it's only 10 years that people do see it, then it's better. So we first do the regulations for phones, young people, and then now we come to TikTok, the app, and have policies like you'll get penalties or your account will be taken away from you, because it's also hard to build a following. Yes, thank you.
Oh my God. Hey, another round of applause for Bobby. My colleague was there telling me time. I was like, I just want to hear more about these lions, these roses. I just want to hear more. But anyway, time is not on our side. Thank you so much, Bobby. I have really learned a lot. I have minted a lot of knowledge. I didn't know all that while. Let me just be honest. So this is the time where we go for just a little bit of survey. This is where you take out your phones and you open your browsers kindly. Yes. To the next step. I hope you were able to access the Wi-Fi password. You were not able to access it. Oh, God. Who has not yet accessed the Wi-Fi password? Just by a show of hands. Or if you don't have, I was almost saying if you don't have bundles, but I don't want to nika you. So if you just accessed it. So everybody's good. So we can start. The password is over here. Yeah. So if you've not accessed it, kindly just give you like a minute to put it in. We're all good to go? We're all good? Okay, wait. We have to be inclusive. Yeah? You can't see? Oh, data protection, cyber security. It's a tech firm. They even say we put it in our for is it foreign language or mother tongue? Yeah. Oh. Sorry, it's so complicated. As it should be. Right. Okay. So just one more minute, and then we head on. We're good? Yeah? Okay. To our online audience too, our Wi-Fi cannot arrive where you are, but we hope that you will also join us in the survey. So once you've opened your browser, this is whatever I want you to type. ahaslides.com/TT survey. ahaslides.com/TT survey. Oh, ahaslides. ahaslides.com. ahaslides. Huh? It's okay. Yeah. Okay, ahaslides with AHA slides.com /TT survey. Are we all there? If you're not there, okay. This is a class. We have to be, we have to be okay with everybody. We're not saying the other one is slow, but we're just saying we just have to be inclusive. Is that okay? Yes. Once more, ahaslides.com /TT survey. We're good. Awesome. We're good. I don't know why I'm tapping at the back benches so much. Yeah, so we're good. Okay. I want to start off. So if you're not good, you can just raise your hand so that we move together. It's good to move together. If it is these lions or roses, we get them together. Okay. We can start off to the first slide. Do you use the TikTok app or web? Do you use the TikTok app or web? Okay. I'll be moving in a little bit fast so you can just tap it very fast. Going on to the next slide. Okay. Do you remember the permissions granted to TikTok for collections of information during app installation? It's a very long question. Do you remember the permissions granted to TikTok for collection of information during app installation? Just a minute for you to synthesize that question, then give your answer. Can see most of us are saying no, so we don't remember the permissions granted to TikTok for collection of information. Okay, to the next slide. Have you ever read TikTok's privacy policy? Hey, people are fast. Your teacher is slow. Have you ever read TikTok's privacy policy? Most of us are saying no. Let's go to the next one. Do you know TikTok's copyright policy? Most of us are also saying no. Okay. On to the next one. Do you know that TikTok has a copyright policy? Are you aware that it exists? If I'm moving a little bit fast, you can raise your hand so that we move together. I'm slow. I'm very slow. This inclusivity thing is not okay. Let me move faster. Okay. People are not fair people. Yeah, Kenyans. Okay. Which digital content app do you spend more time on? Is it WhatsApp? Is it Facebook? Is it TikTok? Is it YouTube? Mm-hmm. Huh. Okay. Can see most people are saying what's up. What's up? Okay, to the next one. Should TikTok's content be moderated more than it is already? Most of us are saying yes. Okay. Hope you're moving together to the next one. How much time, on average, do you spend on TikTok each day? Okay. Mm-hmm. Hey, I can see people who go live. Wow. It's okay. Uh-huh. How many times do you visit the TikTok app per day? Uh-huh. Let's go on to the next one. Some people are not sure, they're counting. Yesterday, what time? What time? Uh-huh. The best part of the day you spend time on TikTok. Yeah? I know, this one says a lot about who you are. It's okay. Don't lie in your survey. It's good. We will not know it's you. So just say it honestly. Yeah? Wow. Aha. Do you create your own TikTok videos? Do you create your own TikTok videos? Uh-huh. We are almost finishing. Are you concerned about the privacy and security of your data while using TikTok? Is it of your concern? Do you care? Hard people really don't care. We just want to pay rent with a lot of things. We don't really care. Personally, I also don't care. Okay. So not read the results. We'll read them after the survey. What motivates you to engage with TikTok content? Select all that apply. All. I've heard the legal issues are not motivating. I have had you. People with legal content, LinkedIn is your space. LinkedIn. Yeah. Have you ever purchased a product or service based on a TikTok recommendation or advertisement? Guys are chipping in their information. Moving on to the next slide very fast. Have you ever encountered content on TikTok that you felt was inappropriate or violated community guidelines? Personally, I have not. The only thing that I follow, they follow me. Yeah? But I have seen from others. I just want to show a good image. My boss will be watching me online. Okay. Should the Kenyan government prohibit the utilization and installation of digital content creation applications on government devices such as phones and computers? This is whatever really happened in Canada, where they stopped all government officials from downloading things like TikTok, their phones. Do you think the Kenyan government should do the same to us? So you can give your comment, your opinion there. And lastly, do you think that TikTok should be banned in Kenya? It's a very controversial statement. Question: do you think that TikTok should be banned in Kenya? People love roses. People love lions. It's okay. It's okay. Okay. Thank you for taking part in our poll. So, I want to now take the program to the other hot side, the other hot side. The hot side is where now we're discussing as a family, and we want to hear our big panelists that are here. I'll not mention their names because this is not my program. So I want to invite the Vice Chair of LSK Nairobi branch, Miss Elizabeth Ndongo. A round of applause for her. Thank you so much. Yeah? Give roses.
I know, I wanted to tell you that we should have asked them to send roses and lions, Good evening. How are you? Feeling good? Have you thought of starting a new career, those roses, 100,000, eh? Young lawyers. Anyway, as you have been told, my name is Elizabeth Wanjiru Ndongo. I'm the Vice Chairperson of LSK Nairobi branch. I am super, super excited by the topic of this evening. And I'm going to have the most exciting panel ever. Yeah? So, allow me to invite the first panelists to join us up here. We have my fellow council member at LSK Nairobi branch, who is also our convener of the ICT and IP liaison committee. Give roses. I don't know how we're going to be giving the roses to Josephine Oyombe. Next. The representation here. So, we have a data journalist, Mr. Odongo Maduong. Send lions. I don't know, we should say roar, something. Then we have my senior, the very beautiful very talented, very smart. Once vied for presidency. The very able Maria Mbeneka. Send roses. Last but not least, we have communication personnel, Neema Mujesia. Makofi. So yes. Hey, Bobby. Mimi tu ni follow. I have 300 followers. But I know your following will bring other followers. Then they can start sending roses. Yeah. So I will start with my senior, Maria Mbeneka. Do you have a TikTok account? And if you do so, you do have one, what is your experience with it?
Good evening, everyone. I am on TikTok, but with an alias. I have created videos that I've never posted, like for others to see, because I come from the school of the internet never forgets, Bobby, and I think it's riskier, I guess. We don't have, I guess, the no shame kind of bravado. But obviously, my kids are on TikTok. A lot of people I know on TikTok. A lot of people are older than me on TikTok and are posting and are making money. I don't know if you know Priscilla Imani.
Yeah.
Priscilla is actually a friend of mine, and she's a gospel artist. But she discovered the power of TikTok, and more power to her. I was quite amazed to see her whistling, and that's her. Like, she's not putting on an act. She just picked a forum that worked for her. But my experience has been, I find it very, very informative. There's low content on TikTok that's actually interesting, but maybe it's interesting because I'm a lawyer. But I've learned a lot of things. I mean, you learn about everything. Gardening, cooking, automobiles. You become a specialist on skin, ladies, hey. How to do your makeup. I mean, like, there's certain things that are quite interesting and informative. If you click on one video about Trump, then you'll just start seeing content about politics and so on and so forth. So for me, TikTok is just like a super highway of content.
Okay.
And I love it.
Okay, thank you. So we'll move to Odongo. Oh, my goodness. They're going to take my roses away, Yeah, so he's Odanga, not Odongo. My apologies. Yes. So, are you on TikTok?
I plead the fifth.
You don't want followers?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Okay. So, in your view, and judging from the trends in Africa, do you suppose TikTok is a necessary motivation or not? Is it useful or harmful, in your opinion?
I think there's enough conversation about roses and gardening and a whole bunch of things. So let me take the other side and say that I think that TikTok is, or rather not think, but have done research on how harmful TikTok can be, and I'm involved in several efforts to actually dig deeper into looking into what kinds of harms TikTok as a platform specifically has been able to met out across different types of demographics of people. So I think that, especially as you have the conversation around is TikTok good or bad, part of the group of people that are trying to bring evidence to the table around how exactly is TikTok harmful, what kinds of harms is it, or rather dissipating towards populations, right? And as we think about regulation, the main question is what kind of harms are we trying to protect people from, right? So that we're not necessarily thinking about how to regulate the technology, and secondly, how to regulate people, but specifically trying to regulate and keep people safe from the harms that the platform could bring towards people.
Thank you for that. Neema, do you agree with him? Is it more harmful or useful?
I think for me and my experience while using TikTok is that TikTok has its, such as any other social platform, is that it has its virtues and vices. So like any other platform, from Facebook to Instagram to Twitter, Kenyans or citizens at now, and we are now woke. We now understand there is data privacy. There, when you do this to me, in case you take my details, there's something we call doxing. You know, there are these things that happen online that we are now aware of. So I do agree that there should be, you know, a sort of moderation when it comes to the content in TikTok, and also that we should take charge as being users of the platform to be responsible for the content we post, and also for the content creators, they should be responsible as well.
Okay, thank you. Josephine. Hi. Are you on TikTok?
Yes, I am.
So tell us why you downloaded the app, and what you consider its importance is in your social life, and what you generally use it for.
Okay, so I am on TikTok, by the way. I joined it, I think, say 2018 or thereabout. And my name is, I also have Sunshine. I don't use my name, so. Again, okay, so when it comes to the reason as to why I joined TikTok, even though right now I'm not really active, number one, TikTok is a platform that has various benefits. It can be used for information dissemination. It could be used for entertainment, and that's why I joined it. Because sometimes, you know, with our career and the workload that is involved in it, sometimes you can really be under stress, and TikTok is an avenue that you can at least go there, wind yourself down and enjoy and have that platform. So I did that for that purpose, and I have seen its usefulness in the sense that I've gotten entertained, I've gotten to also share information that is useful to others. But then in as much as I am a user of TikTok, and in the discussions that we've had from the various speakers, we've both seen all the issues that TikTok has brought. Yes, it has its benefits when it comes to giving dissemination of information, entertainment, and all that. But then there are also other challenges that we have all exhibited, and the reason, and that is specifically the reason as to why we are here, because we are also looking at, okay, yes, there are these benefits, but now do we also need to try and get some regulation and moderate some of the harms that we've seen from this particular use.
Okay. Now, Odanga, since you're a data journalist, yeah, tell us more about, you know, what you do as a data journalist generally, and how it relates to TikTok mainly.
Okay, so actually my official title is the Senior Researcher for Elections and Platform Integrity, the Mozilla Corporation. So basically, I lead the teams that look into investigating the kind of harms that platforms are doing, not just in Kenya, but globally. And so I'm friends with Linda, and she invited me to come and have this conversation. And largely, how I do those kind of investigations is through something called open source investigations and research. So basically, we gather tons and tons of data from tech platforms to look into how exactly might these platforms be subverting their own terms of service and that kind of thing. So I started looking into TikTok last year during the elections when I found that there was a whole bunch of propaganda and hate speech doing, massive rounds across the entire platform and garnering millions upon millions of views. And with my team, we managed to gather some of that information and we took it to TikTok and had a conversation with them and asked them, we have very clear laws against this. So why are your algorithms supercharging this kind of information? And, we had a conversation about it with a lot of their policy people. They told us what they told us. We published a report around it. I'll leave it to you to read what exactly they told us. And then the elections happened, and then again, we see once again the platform spreading huge upon huge amounts of misinformation again around the elections on the application again, and we go back to the platform and ask them, okay, we've identified very clearly that your algorithms are spreading this type of very dangerous information. You know the kind of history that we have with elections in this country. So what are you going to do about it? And then they go ahead and, as a result of some of the work that we did, they went ahead and took down some of that content. Also within the same jurisdiction of my work, some of my colleagues and myself have also looked into how TikTok has also broken its own laws within the US, specifically looking into influencer and political advertising within the US in the lead up to the elections in 2020. Again, same thing. So I'm constantly doing this dance with TikTok, if not in Kenya, in another country, in another country, in another country. So I have been looking into that, but how things have gotten interesting, I think, has been looking into this chapter of the Kenyan story of TikTok. Because I don't think people realize that TikTok is much closer than we think it is.
Okay.
So there was an announcement recently that TikTok is going to open an office in Kenya. How many of you believe that? No, I mean, this is I don't know how many. Okay, so nobody believes it. Do you know why perhaps you need to be a bit skeptical about that? Yes, there's someone at the back. Yes. Yes, they already have an office in Nairobi. And if anything, it's much closer than you think because TikTok is being sued in the courts, right? For leaving people with PTSD for working for them, right? So, I think I'm lucky enough to be a Kenyan because we now get the chance to be very close to the story of TikTok's path to eventual world domination, right? Because they have had a presence here. They have already been trying to moderate the content here, but the issue is that they've been mistreating the very people that are supposed to keep the platform safe. So I could go on and on. Okay. But that's the long and short of my story with TikTok.
Okay, thank you. Now, there's a video that has been doing rounds. It was not recorded on TikTok, fortunately, of an advocate who went to Diani and now is being blackmailed, with some videos being posted on social media, etc., unless he pays a hefty blackmail sum of around 10 million. Now, Maria, please comment on online safety, revenge pornography. What needs to be done to safeguard user data and online safety? Is this a legal problem or is it an ethical problem?
First of all, I feel a bit sorry for that guy who's being blackmailed, but he should just lean into it. Don't give in to the blackmail. Something will happen tomorrow, the day after, that will make us forget about it. That's Kenya for you, right? The second thing is that I think it's both. I don't think it's not a legal problem because, first of all, the law is created by man, yeah, and it's created out of necessity. And it's a live thing, it keeps evolving, we keep amending the laws, we keep coming up with new laws, we keep coming up with new regulations to chase technology, which I find quite hilarious because technology evolves every minute. We tried regulating Instagram, you guys moved to TikTok. Before that, we had said Facebook is too much. And I think my kids left Facebook when they were in primary school, like lower primary. They said Facebook is for old people. I agree with them. My parents are on Facebook, it's for old people. But the thing is that revenge porn, the first thing to do is, and especially because it affects women more than it affects men, you'll never hear a guy complaining that revenge porn was used against him. In fact, it's a moment to shine. Yeah, it's usually a moment to shine because, well, people know that you're a man and whatever. Unless you're caught in the act doing something that is obviously quite illegal in Kenya, and this is usually leaning towards homosexuality. It's, that's where it becomes a thing. But for women, it's very, very, very prevalent. It's been used to silence women, especially women in public or women who have a following. You see, like what's happened to Aziad. I mean, really, just because she got a job with the ministry now, she has to be sleeping with some. I mean, it's ridiculous. You have women parliamentarians who have had to go into hiding because there are certain videos that are circulating. Never mind that it might not even be you. And now with the era of deep fakes, all I have to do is cut your face or superimpose another person's face on a body that is not you, and people think it's you. So first, the thing about revenge porn is anyone who's affected by it should actually take legal action because, one, the information is out there already. Because the first question is, who has those videos? Everyone wants to see the content. So there's no way you're going to stop it. Number two, there's a recourse. You'll actually get legal recourse against that person. There was a young man who was targeting, again, female MPs, and it happened to be many of them. And yeah, it was quite, he's an idiot because I don't know how he thought he was going to get away with it. Eventually, the law caught up with him. So the thing here is that it's not the absence of laws in this country. We have many. We even have regulations as late as 2020 on regulating online content under the, I think, Kenya Information Kika Act, 2020 regulations, and it's not the absence of the laws. It's the willingness to actually enforce the law. It's a willingness of people actually being brave enough to come out and say, I've been victimized. There's a lot of bullying that happens and why I say it's also an ethical question is that Kenyans love something called violence. Yeah? And people will just say quickly, violence.
Yeah,
I'm here until the violence needs to reach here. We love it until it happens to you. So it's both. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Maria. My daughter is 14, and the other day I saw a Facebook account, and I was like, Michelle, I saw you have a Facebook account, and she was like, what? Hiyo ni app ya wa mama. Mimi siwezi kwa huko, and I really get it. So I'm thinking that And I asked her, which app are you in? And she was like, Instagram, TikTok. At least she let me follow her on TikTok and I see what she does. And now that brings me to the next question, Neema. What do you propose should be done in terms of content moderation to ensure concerns such as privacy, data protection, children's rights, and issues of conservation of culture are addressed without stifling the progress made?
Okay, thank you so much for that question.
Yes.
It actually accounts to what some of the work SkikTanet does. And when it comes to, data protection, it takes both ends. Like for the user and also the companies should now have a shrinkage of the ages who are supposed to be on TikTok. When you tell me a 2-year-old can be able to appear on TikTok and be making, as we said, lions for the future, And, it's really interesting. And you find that the parent is actually agreeing to this and saying, my daughter has followers and has maybe 2 million followers, and this is for me, it works for me. But in the long run, we get that when we bring deepfakes in, that the daughter in future can be incriminated in other forms. Nowadays, people can use software identification modules just to create your face, taking the face of a child to being an adult and using it to incriminate you. And you figure out that that is one of the things that TikTok should do in terms of, content moderation and who should be there. When it comes to the users, we should take responsible. We should be responsible, I'm sorry about that. We should take responsibility towards how we put out our content there, because that is what is incriminating us. So I can say we are taking this approach on, the user and the developer as well. So to me, it is just the matter of the user and the developer, and also the government should also come in as well in terms of, this is what the application is all about. Is it following our laws? Are they following our local laws? Are they following our guidelines as well? So yeah, that's from me.
Okay, thank you. Josephine, now that you're the convener of the ICT and IP Liaison Committee at LSK, in terms of approach in regulation of digital platforms, are governments being too hard on the platforms? Are the solutions pursued, such as in the UK, the US, India, Brazil, Somalia, which has even banned it, are they too drastic? And why are African governments finding it hard and wrong when dealing with digital platforms?
Okay, so thank you for that. And when it comes to the regulation of these online platforms, and looking at the regions that you've noted, the US, India, and so forth, some of their infrastructure when it comes to ICT is quite well advanced and at a different stage compared to Africa. So when they take the drastic measures, sometimes maybe to lock out some of these innovations on TikTok and the rest, there are reasons behind that. Now, when we come to Africa and in the context of Kenya, I think we've been discussing on some of the challenges we faced when it comes to TikTok. We've seen some of the examples that have just been given by Neema. She was talking about AI and impersonation, where using technology, one can impersonate someone's image and use it for to get certain means. Again, with such challenges, then governments, the African governments, also need to now try and strike a balance when it comes to these regulations, so that they need to, there's that need for an engagement with all the relevant bodies, so that the stakeholders involved, should it be the social media users, the creative industry, they need to be involved, discuss on the need of policy, meet at a certain level, so that when it comes to the content regulation, at least all these particular stakeholders are able to meet at a certain front and agree on what should be the way forward. But then I wouldn't say that regulation would be really a bad thing, but so long as it's up to a certain extent, that will not, number one, limit our creativity, because the Constitution gives us the right to expression. And so in as much as we express ourselves, it should be within those limits of the constitutional provisions. So thank you.
Odanga, there was this petitioner who approached Parliament the other day, seeking the intervention of the lawmakers to ban TikTok in Kenya, right? We all saw that, yeah? The petitioner alleged that the content is in clash with fundamental cultural and religious values. Do you agree with him?
I need to take a big sigh. So I'm guessing you're talking about Bob Ndolo. Yeah. He's gotten overnight. He's become a celebrity overnight since he launched that petition. It's been quite interesting to see. I do not agree with him on, number one, first of all, on the side of banning the platforms. But I do understand politically what he was trying to do. Because to be honest, when it comes, I have dealt with platforms for years. And to be honest, when it comes to getting them to the table to talk to you, perhaps sometimes it's better to threaten them by telling them that you're going to ban them so that they can freak out and come and say, okay, we want to listen to you, right? But if you go and tell them, oh, we want to regulate you and tell you what you can and cannot do within our jurisdiction, chances are they're not going to listen to you. And by the way, this is not the first time we've had a threat of a government entity trying to ban a platform. It happened last year when NCIC proposed to ban Facebook in light of research that was showing that the company was taking money for the spread of hate speech within the country, okay, ahead of the elections. So this is not the first time that tactic has been done. And again, if you speak to people at NCIC, they'll tell you the same thing. It's a negotiation tactic. There's no way these guys are going to come to the table or listen to you if we as a government organization cannot explore the possibilities of actually having the conversation of trying to ban them, okay? The tone later changed now towards coming towards regulation. That's now we actually, as you can tell, now we actually have, for the first time, actually ever, right, the CEO of a sitting technology platform, big technology platform, okay, actually sitting with a president, with a sitting African president, and is having a conversation about content moderation. That's actually something that's not happened. But unfortunately, it had to happen, not after all the weird things that researchers like myself have identified that called out TikTok on, but it's after Parliament has gone and said, look, we need to ban these guys for this, such and such things. Now, I don't agree with the ban necessarily. I can see the kind of moves that it allows someone to do politically. And I also don't agree on the moral and religious grounds thing, because that's a very slippery slope in which once we go, it's going to lean into all the sexism and, all the isms. I don't know how many there are, right? Right? Yeah. And it's just going to be a very slippery slope, because we then come into who are we as a society and all that. But that's not to say that there are some real harms. How many watu wangapi washaioshwa on social media? Unajua kuoshwa, being scammed. Who's been scammed? Exactly. Yeah. And there are so many people that are falling for such serious issues, right? Oh yeah, let us not mention names of certain lawyers But you get like there's some real protection issues that people feel they need to be protected against. And by the way, we tend to forget, when we think about even, for example, the revenge porn example, right? We say that there's room for legal recourse towards that person. But guess what? There's one more person you're forgetting about. The platform. Okay? The platform makes editorial decisions to publish certain types of content and spread them, especially TikTok. Because as Bobby mentioned, and I think someone else, right? That you don't need a following to go viral on TikTok. What does that mean? TikTok is pushing you.
Yeah.
Right? So think about it from that perspective. I think we need to move away from the religious and moral ground and really look into the actual harms.
Okay.
Regulate the harms, not the technology.
Okay. So, Neema, as you give us your closing remarks, I would like to know how can TikTok be hey, my tribe is betraying me. And we are live. Sure, my ancestors. Yeah, so how can TikTok be leveraged? Yeah, how can TikTok be leveraged as a platform for accurate news, dissemination, freedom of expression, and countering misinformation? And also add your closing remarks as you answer that.
Thank you so much. So TikTok, just like any other platform, is a platform that was made by human beings. So it's not a platform that cannot be altered, to follow rules. So I think first and foremost, for leveraging on information, TikTok should work with fact-checking companies, whereby if there is false or misinformation, it is able to detect from the app, or the user can be able to detect it as well. TikTok should work to educate its users in terms of what data privacy is, what good content is, in order for the users to be fully aware. And in regards to the question that you asked with my closing remarks,
Yes.
Is it
Odanga.
I'm sorry. Kictanet recently, we did a joint statement with different organizations, Haki Sharia. We did it with Article 19. We did it with Access Now towards the petition that was filed in Parliament. And we were looking at it from the perspective of, what should the government do? We first said the government should reject this ban because, content creators like Bobby here are monetizing from the platform, So it is a way for them to earn a living. So we should reject that ban because it's just like any other platform. Every user has their digital right to use any platform. We also said the government should take a holistic approach towards, recognizing the UN regulations that are there. So when the government is taking into consideration this petition, they should consider that. As for the platforms, we talked about the platforms being accountable, transparent towards what it is giving out to its users. So I can say this, Kictanet, we are on TikTok as Kictanet, and we do what Kictanet does, we are a multi-stakeholder think tank for people who are interested and involved in ICT policy regulations. We also act as a catalyst of reforms where we work under 4 pillars, which is policy advocacy, capacity building, multi-stakeholderism, and research. So we also have a mailing list towards that where people contribute ideas and solutions towards the ICT space. So we are on TikTok at Kictanet. I'm also on TikTok, but I'm an anonymous user.
So you want them to send flowers?
No, I'm fine.
Yes.
I'm fine, yes.
Maria, you represent us at the Commonwealth. As you make your closing remarks as well, I want you to tell us, governments around the world have tried to regulate digital platforms such as TikTok. So how best can governments regulate monetization of content as was put forth by Bobby here. Yeah, so.
So regulating and the issue of monetization, like I said, governments are chasing technology, and really this is the way we need to look at this issue of TikTok, is really from a consumer producer perspective. In Africa, we consume a lot from the West. We actually, people like these guys are creating. And think about where TikTok was created, right? And where it's making the most money. It's just irony, really. And it's let me tell you, AI, there's something called AI colonialism. Yeah, and we really need to be very, very skeptical about some of the way governments push regulation and data data protection in a way that's not so favorable to countries like in Africa. So this is a challenge for us, really, to actually look at this as an opportunity to leverage technology. And I think technology is the best thing that has happened to the world, because we can actually take that technology and turn it on its head. Why not create the jobs here? Why not have our own Silicon Valleys here? And they're actually here, but we're doing it from the back end. We are hidden. You have the people who developed the chatbots and the AI models for ChatGPT in Kenya, and they were being paid how much? $2 per hour, per day. And they created ChatGPT, which is being used all over the world. So the exploitation, when it comes to technology of Africa, is still ongoing. I think it's worse than what colonialism actually represented, because now they're making a very quick buck from very poor countries. So this issue of regulation and regulating monetization of content for us is unfair, because these young people, or anyone in Kenya who's realized the potential of AI, should actually be allowed to continue making that content in a way that doesn't impede them. Because what will happen is that the more you tax the online content creators, they'll just find another platform of doing it. They'll find another way of doing it. That's now technology.
Okay.
And so by the time now you start catching up with them and creating regulation and taxing these same content creators that you should be creating jobs for, because we keep saying we're going to build industries. No, we can't. The industry is there on technology.
Okay.
These physical structures that we are so in love with, we need to move and shift our mindsets to where we are in the world.
Closing remarks? Or?
Yeah, so my closing remarks are regulating content is a slippery slope. I don't trust when governments come out gung-ho trying to regulate content, because you've seen what's happened even in Pakistan. You get arrested because suddenly you're making waves. And because you're making waves, they don't want you to reach an audience, you get arrested, and so on and so forth. So it's a way, first of all, of what's the word? Control. Yeah, you're controlling people's voices and democracy, because you have a right to information, a right, you have freedom of speech. So when people talk about or criticize government using platforms such as TikTok, then authoritarian governments or despots will try and regulate that content. So let's be very wary about regulation of content.
Okay, thank you, Maria. Odanga, as you make your closing remarks, also disclose to us where we can get the link to that article you are referring to, the one that responded to the issues that were taken to TikTok head office during the elections. Yeah. And then you give your closing remarks. Also, you could tell us why you practice, as a data journalist, so that we can also follow your content.
Yeah. So if you do want to read some of the work that we have done at Mozilla, just literally write Mozilla Foundation TikTok. You'll be able to see a lot of the work that me and the rest of the team have done in many countries, in Germany, US, and Kenya as well. The report I'm specifically referring to is titled "From Dance App to Political Mercenary." Just really looking into what TikTok really is, because for the longest time, by the way, the people at TikTok did not believe that politics happens on their platform, which is something that I honestly find flabbergasting. I'm like, do you know Kenyans? So my closing remarks, I think I'll maybe speak more to even what Maria has just mentioned, is I think we need to figure this thing out for ourselves and not be too dazzled by, what the Americans or the Chinese bring to us. Increasingly, it looks like we're by the way in this conversation. The Europeans are trying to figure it out, and I guess because I'm speaking to a bunch of lawyers in the room, I think it's important for anybody who's doing anything related with technology, please look into the Digital Services Act that was passed by the EU recently. It's going into action next week, and a whole bunch of tech platforms are rushing to try and become compliant in the eyes of the EU, which is going to have almost similar to GDPR, is going to have knock-on effects across the world. So it's very important for you to just keep that in mind, because when we start regulating, chances are there'll be EU missions that will come and a whole bunch of guys, and in a similar way to the way they did data protection and GDPR, that thing will just be copy-pasted here. But can we please make that work for ourselves?
Okay.
So that's it for me.
Thank you very much. Hey, mnataka kupiga makofi? Then since you've decided, give him a good round of applause. Yes. Oh, and roses. I don't know whether we're going to do this. Now, Maria mentioned about ChatGPT. And I just remembered how it's made my life so easy, that I can type Madogo Dhanio and it arranges it for me, I don't want it banned. No one should go to parliament and ask, for it to be banned. Josephine, as you make your closing remarks, and since you sit, of course, with me at the Law Society of Kenya Nairobi branch, what insights from global experiences can actually guide our African governments and even our own Kenyan government in effectively regulating TikTok and digital platforms? And how do you feel, maybe one point, or how can, just one thing that Law Society can actually do to actually help in this?
Okay, so thank you. When it comes to global insights, I could say that other countries, other continents are way advanced compared to Africa and even Kenya more specifically. So the insights that we could get as a country, Kenya, we could maybe get some of the best practices when it comes to the use of these platforms. When it comes to the use, we should be able to create enough awareness to all of our users so that our users are well aware on how to use these social media platforms, how are they interacting with them. Because, for instance, when you're using TikTok or even other applications, normally you are able to give a lot of data. And for most of the users, I'm sure that we are not aware that there's so much data that is being accessed. For instance, data like your location, some of the applications are able to access your phones and get more information and a lot of this. So with that creation of awareness, I believe that we shall be able to have some regulation in some extent that is, again, in our interests as the users of these platforms. Now, when it comes to LSK, we can also be useful in terms of ensuring that this awareness is also created, not just to advocates, but even to the citizens of Kenya, because we are the stakeholders of the law, and some of the users of these platforms, again, do not have this information. So it is really critical for us to share and disseminate all this information. And in terms of closing remarks, now, for my closing remarks, I think it's really important for us to keep pushing this conversation. I'm actually glad that this is happening because, again, we shouldn't keep quiet. We have all seen the repercussions of TikTok and other social media platforms. They could be good, but again, they also have some of their challenges. And what are we going to do about these challenges? Because TikTok, as Odanga has said, sometimes it can be used to disseminate information that is not true and accurate. So there's need for us to take action. Again, for our children, do we want them to access information or data that or content that is not really suitable for them?
At 3 a.m.
Really, we wouldn't really want that. So let's keep talking. Let's keep engaging in this conversation. As stakeholders, let's keep engaged so that we make noise and we contribute in terms of developing relevant policies and the laws. If we look at the laws that guide content regulation. If you look at the Film and Stage Plays Act, it's an act that was established in the 1962.
Yeah.
It's quite an old piece of legislation, and we have several other pieces of legislation that are quite old.
Okay.
And in this stage, technology has really advanced, and so even our regulation needs to match the current state of the technology advancement.
Okay, thank you, Josephine. Wasn't it amazing? Wasn't it great? I'm on TikTok, by the way. You just search Wakili Lizzy. I don't do boring content. I dance with my daughter. I take videos on the beach. Okay, not the ones for sending flowers. I actually thought as part of closing remarks, Josephine would talk something. We are in an electioneering period at the Law Society of Kenya. So nilidhani ataomba kura, but oh well. I continue to be your vice chair at the Law Society of Kenya, Nairobi branch. Nikikuja nikiitisha promotion pia, mnipatie. But otherwise, it's been fun. It's been real. I've really enjoyed moderating this session. Let's give a round of applause to the panel as we go to sit. Asanteni sana.
Thank you so much. Another round of applause as our speakers have their seats. It's been an eventful evening, and this is now your chance to give your questions and your contribution. I just want to hear it from you, even from the online audience. This is your chance. If you have any question, I'm sure Ken will help me so that we'll also read them. But this is your chance. From the back end, I don't know if I have a microphone there. Make sure you make it a little bit brief because of time, but we want to listen to you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. I think that was really a very interesting conversation, and I liked it so much. Thank you, Liz, for doing a good job. I appreciate it. That's my vice chair at the council. My name is Victor Mulindi. I'm also a council member at Nairobi branch. What I want to hear from Odanga, who's a data journalist, yes, is two things. One, I want him to comment about something called aggressive data mining that happens on the TikTok platform. I've read that somewhere, and it seems that TikTok has very aggressive means of mining data from users, including geolocating phones or devices every 1 hour, getting your contact list, your calendar, your schedule, etc. Maybe I can have some comment on that and what makes it different from what other platforms are doing. And then on the second note, is this conversation about regulation more about the content that goes on the platform or more on the issue of data privacy? Because TikTok is a platform like any other platform. What people choose to put on the platform, if you start regulating that, then it becomes a bit of a an issue. So I want to know, where is the conversation leaning more on? Yes. Thank you so much.
Do you want me to answer that now? Okay, sure. So I'm not necessarily but so I can't really speak too much to the aggressive data mining practices. As far as I know, there is a reason that the U.S. government and actually started off with the. I'll maybe speak to the fears around specifically TikTok's data mining practices, because one thing we've seen is actually the first government entity to actually ban TikTok from its devices was not necessarily the entire US federal government, but the US military, right? So I think perhaps looking into why exactly that ban happened within that specific realm, I think is what set off alarms that now cascaded across very many countries, refusing to put the application on their phones. I can't speak necessarily to the aggressive data mining practice necessarily because it's not something I've studied, but I think in due time it's something I think perhaps I should look into. Now, secondly, on the regulation part, in terms of content versus privacy, now here's the thing. In Kenya, what the conversation we're having is around regulation of content, okay? And that is a very slippery slope, as many of us have mentioned. But the truth is also that to some extent, content needs to be regulated, specifically in cases whereby we have seen there's a very clear kind of harm that it can bring about. If you are doxxed, for example, right, and someone goes ahead and releases your information to the public, like has happened with Aziad and Brian Chira, that's something that needs to be penalized. Or maybe there are people who are in disagreement. But, right? That's something that needs to be penalized. The fact that, there are certain types of content on the platform that minors should not be seeing. Now, that is an aspect of something we call age-appropriate design, right? Where a platform should not just be able to allow a 2-year-old to access it, right? Without trying its best to establish that a 2-year-old is actually using this platform and to make sure that they are not suggesting lewd type of content towards this person. So on the privacy side, I think the main answer we're looking for here is how to regulate how the technology is created and how the technology is designed. Because how many of you remember a time when you would go on Facebook or Twitter and you could scroll, and then it ends? Right? You remember that time? Okay. Yeah, Facebook, yeah, I don't know. Right? There was a time it would end. Yeah? But have you noticed now, it doesn't end. Right? And that's a problem. That's actually a problem. You should not be spending 3 hours of your time just scrolling. It's dangerous for your health. Right? And in China, for example, they've actually regulated against this and said that after about 40 minutes, the applications are mandated to tell someone, go do something else with your life. Yeah? So let's not be cheated that these things cannot be regulated. Yeah, we need to think about them because we use these things every day and they're helpful to us, right? But in certain instances, they're not that useful. So let's think about regulating the technology because we already regulate delivery of food, right? We had sugar with mercury here the other day. We are constantly thinking how to regulate various consumer goods that come to us. Technology is a consumer good. And that's how we should think about it. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Odanga. Just to let you know, there is tea. So it's important that you also stay and also ask more questions. I also plead to our speakers. Yeah? Or kuna chai, there is tea. There is tea behind. So that's why you want to finish. Yeah? I'll be very specific, but anyway, that's why I'd want to give just a chance for 2 more people. Just 2 more, and just one question. I know you have a lot, but I'll plead to our speakers so that you will ask more when they're here. Is that okay? Okay, so can the microphone go to the last end?
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Melvin Malemba. First of all, thank you to the panelists and Bobby. I'm a big fan of East Meets West. Shout out to you. I just wanted to give another perspective. Perhaps the reason why we're having people creating content that is in the way that it is, in a negative way, is it because of the economy? So that now, times are hard. Times are hard, so you have to get creative. Because most of these people, some of them create content while at work. Some lawyers give us a day in the life. So at the end, they get some revenue off TikTok. So is it because the financial times are hard, so people are trying to get a side hustle, and they're saying that, wow, twerking can actually earn me more than my day job? So I just wanted to point out, I think Bobby can answer that. And also, I've followed you, Akililizi. I have a platform. We have an organization together with my friend here, Victor, and a team of mine. It's called Law and Behold. And we're trying to debunk the stereotypes that lawyers are not fun and the law is not that. So please follow us. Thank you so much.
But lo and behold, yeah. Law is not fun, but anyway.
Just to speak about that in terms of regulation, if I was asked personally, I think the first thing would be just like Netflix, the way there is Netflix Kids. I feel like TikTok should actually introduce that, where we have TikTok Kids. That would be the first step to take. And then a second thing is, I wish, just the way on Instagram, when you get verified, for you to get the blue tick, you have to produce your ID. So if joining every platform, each and every one of us could give out our IDs, I honestly feel like the hate, the content, that type of content will reduce, because now people are cautious that they can be found because your IDs are there. So I feel like that would be a direction to go towards in terms of regulation, that people can have that, so that even people who open pseudo accounts, they're linked to their original account, which is linked to their ID. So the bullying and the sexual content, I think there'll be a reduction of that. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Bobby. A round of applause. Yeah. I'll be too selfish with this time, so I'll just add one more person. So it will be a lady and a gent, finally, and it will be a contribution. You'll allow me. Let me just be a little bit selfish. But anyway, also don't forget to follow us on TikTok. We only have one follower. Is it 2? There are 8. Okay, add one more T for them. From my end, from my budget. Anyway, yeah.
Hi guys, again. My name is Melvin. I think Bobby read my mind, because as we're also talking about regulation of age, they ask you, so when is your birthday? Alafu you scroll, you say like 2002. So even if I'm 6 years, I can still go and say I'm 57 years, and no one would, because it's up to me. And then I think the idea is good. The idea is good. But also I think it also brings issue about data protection. Now people know I'm from Keroka, my sublocation is Wapi, but also on the matter of regulation, I'm now looking at it from a perspective of, if we're saying, for example, posting certain content is an offense rather. So what if I have a boyfriend in Mexico, yeah? He posts my nanos there. Another person stitches, another one duets, and these are jurisdictional issues, in short. Like, we have so many things. Again, the pseudo accounts. Now, for example, I decide to call myself Esther. We have so many Aziads on TikTok who are posting Aziad content. So who is the real Aziad? And then if we're saying this is an offense, who's policing? And is this policing now bring an issue whereby, me, I know I can't post, for example, I can't call out so-and-so, or I can't do certain things. So I think regulation is a very big issue, because there are a lot of things, and we also need to keep up with. Duetting and stitching and commenting and liking were not probably things we're factoring in. But what if now I like porn, or whatever, or you know. Alafu nikishikwa, I will say you said it's okay. But also, as I conclude, also as we're saying, for example, TikTok has an agreement with maybe US on, they have their own agreements on what content is to be posted there. But if Mzungu posts there, whatever that's okay there, I can still consume it. Yeah, like, as Kenyans, we consume content from US, from Germany, so there are a lot of, like, there could be something that have been agreed or we've agreed in our laws, but that does not prevent me who's in the US from posting a picture in a booty shot, yeah? And could like my picture in a booty shot. So I think those are some of the matters we would be addressing as well, and we should engage the content creators as well. Thank you.
Wow. I'm speechless. I can't add from there. I'd want to also... Well, hey, on that note, I just give 1 minute to Julius. Julius Abuje is the founder of Leapa. Just to make a 2-minute contribution. That okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi. Yeah, so I won't take much time. I'll just be very honest with you. So right now, the truth is, first of all, I'm Julius Abuje, and thank you, panelists. That was quite informative indeed. And especially since you guys here, most of you guys are lawyers, right? I never studied law. I actually don't know anything about law. But what I know is, right now where we are, we're in the data age. Right now, even the money that you have, it's e-money. It's e-money. How many people have cash here? It's pretty much data. That's data. That's data. That's how you need to look at it. So the question then is, if TikTok has content that is not right, how do you regulate the content? Don't regulate the platform. You'll stifle technology. Let's regulate the content. Because at the end of the day, you see what you like. You like porn? It's okay, right? But when you... Sorry, I'm just using you as a... Sorry.
And it's still okay.
To be honest, it's the most recent joke, so... Right. But at the end of the day, what you need to do is... And thanks, Odega, because the work that you do, I actually read a lot of your stuff. I'm in the financial tech industry, and I read a lot of research. So at the end of the day, what you need to look at is, if it's bad, can we have intuitive platforms that are actually able to look at preferences, look at the age, what are we showing these people? Because I have a daughter, and I would definitely want to see my daughter seeing something at 3 a.m., right? Should be sleeping, right? Yeah, so I think that will be my sentiment. And let's work towards not stifling technology, but enabling technology to be in a safer way so that people can actually consume it in a safe way. That is the only way to go. Otherwise, we'll be back to, you say 1962, there's a law that was written in 1962? That's definitely where we are headed to. Yeah, so thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Abuje. Just to let you know that guys on TikTok, the guys who are working at TikTok, they're watching. I am 100% sure. So what information you're bringing out, they're really looking at what angle is Kenya taking. So I am being back to add one more, but now time is not on our side. But because I'll be able to be given, you give me a lion, right? Okay, sawa.
Thank you. I think my representative has really fought for me here. Lions. So anyway, my name is Robert Maina. I'm a lawyer, an advocate. I also happen to work in a bank. So I'm practically very interested in data and cybersecurity. And I think for me, the question that comes to mind is the overall regulation, not only on TikTok. I think it's for the internet age. Data basically is the gold mine of the future. The future is now. And for me, I practically have a bias on surfing on websites that are created in Europe. Sorry. And for my reason for that is that when you get on a website, most of the time they ask you, they usually have three options. When they ask you about cookies and cache data, you either accept, reject, all, or choose what you need to reject. But when you come to Kenyan websites and most Kenyan applications, they usually don't have those choices. And for that purpose, then it begs the question as to where are we with regulating this kind of data, and especially personal private data. And also, please allow me to be the devil's advocate on this one, but having worked in a bank, it's really easy for an organization to get data on a subject with the whole KYC regulations and all that stuff. Are we then raising questions as to when certain applications start up, do they need to have the same regulation to know their customers, so that then we know who it is that is using your application and why and how, with the whole terrorism, child pornography, all that stuff. So yeah, I think probably those are very many questions, but thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I've not gotten your name, sorry.
Robert Mayer.
Yes, a round of applause for Robert. At this juncture, I think everything or a lot has been said. I know we cannot finish. That's for sure. And in terms of online things, content things, we'll keep on creating. New things will come in. I'm sure there's a new TikTok also being created along the way. So that's why this platform is here, and that's why Lawyers Hub is here, so that we create that community space where you come and share your views, your opinions. And the conversation almost twisted. And I remember Odanga talking about content moderators who are here, who are being underpaid. And I know that's a subject we've not really, caught up to, Yeah, your payroll when you're in Germany, it's bigger. When you're here, it's smaller. And they're the people who are supposed to regulate these things. So they're there, they're suffering. And I was listening to this conversation, and it was overwhelming for me because there's a lot to be talked about. So I'll not saturate you more because there's tea. I know tea tapoa. Na mimi ndio sijui, Yeah, so thank you so much for joining us. I am sure we have one more thing to do. We will ask the speakers to join us here for a photo, kindly. Before we finish, all the speakers, Stephen, please kindly. Oh. I don't know. Will you share? Should we? Ken, should they sit? We have our regulator here. He will regulate this photo. Yeah? Yeah, we're calling one by one. They can stand. We want a photo with everyone, so please don't leave until we have a photo with everyone. And also we have tea, kindly. Perfect. No, please don't. The Lawyers Hub team, kindly join the speakers. The Lawyers Hub team, Michael, I know tea is important, but just one photo with the Lawyers Hub team. kindly, very, very fast because time is not on our side. This is the team that made this event happen, and they will keep on doing more and more. Thank you so much for making this happen. Hope we don't have anybody shy from the Lawyers Hub team. Okay, Mike. Oh, I'm also part. Oh, yeah.
Right, good. All eyes on the camera. 3, 2, 1,
Thank you. Now, everyone. I don't know how we're going to do. We can't do that. That's not possible. Wow. But anyway, they can get a photo or two before they leave. So anyway, thank you so much. A round of applause for the speakers. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. The Lawyers Hub space is open for everybody. Don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms. Twitter at Lawyers Hub Kenya, Facebook Lawyers Hub Kenya, and everyone. So thank you so much and have a lovely evening. Have tea. Thank you.